everyone, Julie here. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to be advised when I post new content. And at the end of this video, if you like it, please go ahead and give the thumbs up. So today I'm just going to do a quick order that I got for a t-shirt, birthday t-shirt. And it's not a design that I normally sell, but it is a Marvel's design. I stitched it out already, so because I wanted to show you guys what it would look like end product, but we'll go through the process of making it as well. So this is a design. It's got Spider-Gwen and Venom, and the little boy's birthday is 4, and then his name is Easton. So this is what we're going to be stitching out today. I did a practice stitch, and I always do a practice stitch. It's really good to get into the habit of doing that because these are new designs that I bought, and I just got them on Etsy. So if you search Spider-Gwen or Venom embroidery designs, they come up. And sometimes, not to knock off any digitizers or anything, they're pretty great. But you will run into scenarios where sometimes the colors are not at the right place, or you just get some weird, if you alter the size as well, you can get some really weird funky things happening with your design. I'm lucky enough that I have the digitizing software with my Melco. It's called Design Shop, so I am able to, if I see some, when I change the size of a design, if I see some kind of, I don't know, stitches that look out of place or whatever the case is, I can go in and move them around. But the goal is usually to never reduce or increase the size of your image by more than 20%. So just for those of you who are not aware, if you do alter it or resize it more than the 20%, you're risking altering the entire design. You compress or extend your stitches way too much, and then it just ruins your design. The quality is not there and it doesn't look good. So that's why I stitched this out. I actually did it twice. I'll show you what the first one looks like so that you can compare. And I did change some of the colors, but this is the first stitch out, and you'll notice that first of all, I made my design smaller because I was using my 7 1/4 hoop, mighty hoop, and I had plans to use the 8x9, but I just wanted to stitch it out with my felt, which is a smaller sheet. So I stitched this out. I was like, okay, the name needs to be bigger. Yes, this needs to be cut out, and I was just being lazy, but the color around the 4, I didn't really care for it. And then I kind of noticed some things that went wrong with this design. So for example, the red tongue doesn't show. What happened with the design was that the red tongue stitched before the black color, and I didn't notice it when I transferred the design onto my Melco software. I didn't notice it. So when I stitched it out, I was like, oh, okay, we need to move that color so that it shows on top of the black as opposed to underneath it, because then it doesn't show. So those are a little bit of the changes that I made in this new one, and I think it turned out a lot better, and it's larger. I did this on the 8x9. So I'm using just knit fabric that I bought on Etsy, actually, from a Canadian seller. I like to try to buy my things as local as possible. I can link her down below if you guys want. But for my 8x9, I find that my sheets for my backing and my felt sheets are too small. So I prefer to use this knit fabric because then I can cut it to the size that I want. And if you have a much larger mighty hoop or whatever the case is, you can cut it to size. So that's that. We're gonna get started. My design is already set up. My colors are already on my tree. So I'm pretty much good to go. The only other thing I need to mention to you guys is because this is a pretty dense design, I'm going to be using both a cutaway and tearaway backing. Alright, so I'm going to get started, and I've got my fabric here ready for my applique. I'm going to go ahead and iron this because it's all creased, and I have my heat and bond that I'm going to go ahead and iron on here as well. So let's get started. So just so you guys know, when I'm doing applique, I always use my adhesive spray, and I think I mentioned this before, because the machine is so fast, I have to use adhesive spray when I'm putting out fabric for my appliques. The other thing that I did not mention is I use this thing, it's called a stiletto. For those of you who are not familiar with it, this one is by Clover. I love Clover. So they have these little stilettos with a little pick, and then it has a little rubber end. So instead of using your fingers and possibly getting those caught, because we've seen so many people get injured putting their fingers in an embroidery machine, don't do it. It's not worth it. Get yourself a little stiletto like this. I think they're $5. And I use the rubber part to hold my fabric down. So it should stay down because you've got the adhesive spray, but regardless, I just like to maybe push it out to make sure it doesn't get any clumps in the middle or it doesn't bunch. So very important and well worth the $5. All right, so we've got our number 4 stitched out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my applique scissors and we're gonna cut around it. Has the hole in the middle, and I think I've gone through this with some of you guys before. What I do, I just take a seam ripper and I cut a little hole. Just try to be gentle and try to pierce a hole just in the top fabric and not your t-shirt, and then from there I use my applique scissors. So just kind of try to tear a little hole in the top fabric. It's not easy because you have to be so careful not to get caught in the bottom t-shirt. So kind of just make a hole and pray that you didn't go through. That's basically what happens. Okay, you look good. I'm just having a look to see what needs to be cut. I definitely have quite a few loose threads, jump stitches, and so on. So as always, grab your tweezers, grab your applique scissors, and start cutting away, all while being super careful that you don't cut any thread that you're not supposed to. Okay, so I've taken all of the extra stitches off, as well as the jump stitches. There weren't many jump stitches, but I'm just going to take my roller and make sure I don't have anything left here that I haven't seen. Oh, see? Always some that pop up at some point. There we go. Alright, so there's the design stitched out. I think it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to I am going to tear away the first layer of backing, and then I will cut around the cutaway backing, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my tender touch on top and heat press it. So that is the next step. So for those of you who have been embroidering for a long time, as I mentioned, the backing is really I think it's preference of what you'd like to see and what the outcome is. And so I'd be curious to know if any of you would have done it differently or had used different backing. As I mentioned, I used a layer of cutaway and a layer of tearaway so that I could tear away the first layer and keep the cutaway which will be covered with my tender touch. Because this is a child's t-shirt, I always want to make sure that the tender touch is put on, whether it be for kids or babies. It helps with sensitive skin. Make sure that your stitches are not scratching anybody. I always try to keep at least a ½ inch to an inch of cutaway from the edge of the design. I just use a pair of scissors. I love Fiskar. I swear by them. I use all of my scissors, rotary cutters are all by Fiskar. And funny enough, I bought a pair of applique scissors recently. I bought a new pair. I didn't even try them, didn't use them, anything, and then next thing you know, I bought a new pair of Fiskar applique scissors again. It's like my mind was like, no, don't switch your brand. Don't switch what you know. Basically, you know, when people say it's not broken, don't fix it. It's like, why switch brands when you know your stuff is so good? I use the Sulky Tender Touch. You can use whatever brand you want. This is the one that I like, and I buy this on Amazon. Sorry, my nose is sniffling. Okay, and I just basically, ooh, this is tight, because I did enlarge this, so it's going to be a close call. I always check the size, and then I just give it a cut. I would use, okay, maybe I should have done. So normally I'll cut it with my rotary cutter, and that's what you should do, because if you don't, like, look at the bottom of this, it's cut all wonky. So I'm gonna go to my rotary cutter and that is more like it. See how clean cut that is. And you know, guys, I know I'm super picky with the details, but in reality, it's a professional look you're going for. If you want just whatever, and you don't care if people come back and buy from you or not, then you can do what you want. No judgment here. I'm just going to try the other side and see which, well, this is kind of better almost. No, I'll stick to this side. 325 for 15 seconds, and that's good enough. If I can feel a roll on the top, what I meant by that is if you pass your finger over top over the tender touch and you feel it kind of roll back, you're going to want to press it again. And I'm seeing it a little bit on the top, just So that's what the back looks like with the tender touch on there. Fairly noticeable and nice and soft, and it covers the entire design. So now we're gonna go ahead and package the order. All right, so I just wanted to, sorry, I went back and I took a picture of my t-shirt. I always like to take pictures for my social media, so I wanted to do that before I package it. So what I'm gonna do now is I've already folded the t-shirt. I've got my string here, so I always like to put the design in front. I say that every time. Oh, I forgot to mention, I think a lot of people ask where I get my fabric. And for this applique, you'll never believe it, but I got this fabric at Walmart actually. They will surprise you. They have nice fabric there sometimes. And I just add my little tag on here. So yeah, I actually really like it. I think the patterns are super cute. And you don't have to buy a lot when you're doing applique unless you know you have this product that you know you make a lot of. This one was a custom order, so I'm not concerned about needing a lot. It was just a little package of fabric that I had lying around. Right, so I have my tissue paper here. So I purchased my tissue paper from uline.ca in Canada. I don't know if there's a Uline in the States or not. Probably, wouldn't doubt it. So I just wrap the tissue paper and I fold it on both sides. And just tuck it in a little bit and then I add my little sticker. Thank you for supporting my small business. Even though I'm hoping one day it won't be small anymore. That's what everybody hopes for, I think. Got my box here. I've already stuck my label and I've got my thank you card in here. So there we go. We're gonna fold this both sides. Add into the box. So, I'm going to use a turquoise mailer. I love these, they're super cute. I use the pink ones for my girls' t-shirts and the aqua or turquoise ones for the boys. I just think it's more, you know, fun. And then I add my packaging slip with my box. And then I've already printed, oh, and I put a sticker on there too. And I sign my name because it's just, you know, personalization again. You want people to know that you've put your heart and soul into it, and because you would never put your name on something that you're not proud of, I don't think. I wouldn't. 8, that's sealed, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the packaging label on there, which I'm gonna show you guys because, you know. Alright guys, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Feel free to also join our Facebook group at Canadian Embroidery Help and Supplies by Julietta Fiogo. You can also check out my website, bearcubeboutique.com, to see all of the products that I offer. Or you can check out my blanks website, bcblanks.com, where I do sell embroidery supplies and crafting supplies. So at the moment I'm offering quilting blankets with different colors, and I also have 3-inch ribbon available now. So I've just added that. It's glitter ribbon and holographic gross grain ribbon. So check it out. And if there's anything that you're looking for that I don't currently have, feel free to let me know. I'm always happy to check it out and see if that's something that I can add to my website. So thanks again for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!